Today, we're diving into what was, honestly, one of the most chaotic, dramatic, and just flat-out wild match days in recent World Cup history. We're talking about June 18th, a day that started with a gritty, kind of lucky escape and ramped up to a historic 6-0 absolute thrashing. If you love the beautiful game, you know tournament football is literally unpredictable. And this match day, it proved the group stage is already operating at absolute peak drama. So get comfortable, because we've got a lot of ground to cover. Okay, here's today's agenda. We'll kick things off with Mexico's crucial win, then look at Czechia's stumble, check out Switzerland's late surge, and wrap up with Canada's historic beatdown.
Section 1. Mexico's ugly but crucial win down in Group A in Guadalajara.
So if you tuned into this one, you know the vibe. This was way more about the final result than the actual performance. Did Mexico actually deserve the win? Well, honestly, the first half was a total snooze fest. We're talking just 5 total shots between both sides. Super cautious, incredibly tight. The game only blew open in the second half because of an absolute gift. The South Korean keeper rushed off his line for a floating ball, totally crashed into his own defender, and spilled it right into the path of Luis Romo. Romo just kind of lifted it into an empty net. You know, not exactly a tactical masterclass in goal creation.
But look at the underlying data here, because it tells a wild story. When you look at expected goals, or XG, South Korea was sitting at 0.69, while Mexico was all the way down at 0.48. On paper, South Korea actually had the better chances. They were incredibly unlucky not to equalize late, getting robbed by some unbelievable reaction saves. It just goes to show, right? Tournament football simply does not care about statistics or who looked better on a spreadsheet.
The crucial takeaway here is this. Despite the ugly stats, and despite getting outplayed in stretches, Mexico was absolutely ruthless when it mattered. They were clinical enough to get the job done on home soil. Because of that one mistake and a super resolute defense, they are officially the very first team at this entire World Cup to book a ticket to the knockout rounds, sitting pretty at the top of Group A with 6 points.
Moving right along to Section 2, Czech Republic's stumble, which was just a massive disappointment.
Shifting over to Atlanta for this Group A clash between Czechia and South Africa. Man, the European side is going to remember this one with pure frustration. Let's trace how this heartbreak went down. It actually started out perfectly. 6th minute, Michel Sadilek opens the scoring. Literally the earliest goal of the World Cup so far. But look at what happened right before and right after. Patrick Schick, their star striker, completely misses a glorious header in the 4th minute, and then he misses another massive chance in the 60th. When you squander back-to-back golden opportunities like that, you just let your opponent hang around. And South Africa hung around long enough to force a late handball on the box. Moquena steps up, buries the penalty in the 83rd minute, and levels it at 1-1.
Yet again, the XG tells a really fascinating story. South Africa actually edged out the Czechs, generating 1.37 XG to Czechia's 1.02. South Africa really grew into the game, while the Czechs just failed to put it to bed. Now, both teams are desperately sitting on just one single point. And with Mexico already through, Czechia is in serious trouble going into their final match. Honestly, those missed chances are going to haunt them.
All right, Section 3. Switzerland's late-game fireworks and a completely mental final 20 minutes.
So we head over to SoFi Stadium in LA for this Group B matchup between Switzerland and Bosnia. For the longest time, this had 0-0 draw written all over it. Let's look at how this sequence just completely flipped the script. For 73 minutes, it was nothing but frustration. The Bosnian fans were roaring, cheering every single touch from their captain, Edin Dzeko. But then, boom, 76th minute. Johan Manzambi unleashes an absolute golazo on the volley right into the roof of the net. Just 6 minutes later, a desperate tackle from Bosnia's Muharrimovic gets a straight red card. And once Bosnia went down to 10 men, the floodgates just swung open. Vargas scores at 84, Manzambi strikes again at 90, and Granit Xhaka buries a stoppage-time penalty. That's 5 goals in the final moments, turning a nail-biter into a 4-1 Swiss demolition.
And the absolute hero of this match, 20-year-old Johan Manzambi. This kid came off the bench and immediately cemented himself as the ultimate game changer. With that insane volley and the 90th minute strike, he officially became the youngest player in World Cup history to score a brace as a substitute. Seriously. In fact, 4 of his 5 international goals have come off the bench. He literally changed the entire trajectory of Group B in just a handful of minutes.
Section 4. Canada makes World Cup history by thrashing Qatar. Now for the main event. This was an absolute masterclass against Qatar, played under the bright lights of BC Place in Vancouver, with 52,000 fans going absolutely crazy. 6, yes, you heard that right, 6-0. That marks the biggest win by a CONCACAF team in men's World Cup history. And even more incredibly, it's Canada's first ever tournament victory on the men's side.
Let's break down the anatomy of this thrashing, because this chaotic match had literally everything. Sile Aaron gets the party started with a rebound finish in the 16th minute. Then Jonathan David, who was just electric all night, volleys one home in the 29th. Things get super spicy when Qatar's Homa Mahmed sees a straight red in the 33rd, and David grabs another goal right before the half. But the second half brought a really bittersweet moment. Qatar goes down to 9 men after a horrific tackle on Ismail Kone. He had to be stretchered off with a serious lower leg injury. Despite that really dark moment, Canada kept pushing. Nathan Saliba scores in the 64th and holds up Kone's jersey in this amazing, powerful tribute. An own goal follows, and finally Jonathan David wraps up a historic hat-trick in stoppage time.
If you look at the match dominance numbers, it wasn't even a contest. 33 shots for Canada compared to just 2 for Qatar. Let me repeat that. 33 to 2. With 65% possession, Canada just completely suffocated them. The tension was actually so high that it spilled over after the final whistle. The opposing coaches, Jesse Marsh and Julian Lopetegui, they completely refused to shake hands. There's clearly some deeper drama brewing there, but strictly on the pitch, Canada delivered an absolute statement to the rest of the world.
So, what's the big takeaway here? The World Cup is absolutely delivering. From Mexico grinding out a super ugly but vital result, to the Czechs totally blowing their opportunity, to Switzerland catching fire in the dying minutes, all the way up to Canada's historic 6-goal explosion. This matchday proved there is no such thing as an easy game, and the group stage is providing top-tier entertainment.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a provocative question to chew on. Who impressed you the most today? Are you more blown away by Jonathan David's ruthless hat-trick that drove Canada to a historic blowout? Or by 20-year-old Johan Manzambi coming off the bench to shatter a World Cup record and rescue Switzerland? Whose historic performance do you think will carry the most momentum as we race toward the knockout stages? Take a second to think about that. Thanks for joining me to unpack this incredible match day. Keep watching, keep analyzing, and I'll catch you in the next breakdown.